Come on, get the sound. Come on.
Thank you, Reverend Gant. But we'll call that in the Affairs Committee to order. Roll call, Mr. President. Here.
Mr. Clayton, Reverend Gant.
Here.
Mr. Hendricks.
Here.
Mr. Small.
Here.
Reverend Tolbert. Ms. Denbo. That is a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next is on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Mason, we will have Reverend Tolbert.
Heavenly Father, we come now to thank you for this day, for the many blessings that you've already bestowed upon us. We lift up the Southern University system and all of its campuses, chancellors, our president and board members, and certainly our faculty and staff and the Jaguar Nation. We pray your benedictions upon all of us and that you would guide us in this meeting, that we would make prudent decisions that are made out of wisdom that would lead to the betterment of this university. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Tolbert. Now we have the adoption of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to adopt? Been properly moved in second. Those in favor? Those opposed? So have it. Section 4, public comments. Are there those who wish to make a public comment at this time? May approach the podium. If not, we'll move to action item 5A, degree granting authority to the Southern University Law Center.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members of the committee, we at the Law Center in the process of going up for accreditation with the SACS in February, and we're in the process of preparing our compliance certification report. We have a Dr. Claudette Williams, who is the assigned SACS consultant to the Law Center, and she has been vetting some of the responses that we've been putting together for our report. In core requirement 2.1 that deals with degree granting authority, she reviewed our response and was of the opinion that when we were decoupled from the Baton Rouge campus in 1985 to become a law center, that the decoupling did not specifically grant degree granting authority to the law center. Of course, I'm of the opinion that it's implicit within with that decoupling. However, she is of the opinion that it has to be direct and descriptive in the process. So we thought, in order to shore that up, to make sure that we don't have any problems in February when we have our site visit, that we asked the board to grant the degree granting authority, make it retroactive to the time that the decoupling took place in 1985, and effectively say that everything that we have done since that time has blessed the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any questions? Yes. Been properly moved and adopted. We pass 5A, degree granting authority to the Law Center. All those in favor? Those opposed? So have it. Action item 5B, letter of intent to establish an associate of applied science degree in process technology, SUSLA. Mr. Chancellor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. We bring to you a request to consider the adoption of a Associate of Applied Science degree in process technology. As you are aware, the university for more than a year has really engaged in a lot of due diligence to try to determine the feasibility and to document demand for the process technology program. We have since engaged with a number of constituents and industry partners in Northwest Louisiana. We believe that we have the appropriate mix of partners and finances to really move this degree program forward. We therefore ask your consideration that would enable us to request actually a substantive change through SACS with the intent of fully implementing the program in 2015.
Thank you, Dr. Belton. Are there any questions of Dr. Belton? If not, your pleasure.
Conversation about that. Process technology, congratulations on it. In Southwest Louisiana, we have quite a bit of an influx of jobs that are coming that way. One of the questions is, would we, after you've established the program, be able to try to find a relationship with maybe some industry or other universities in that area? Presently, right now, we have process technology, but there's a long waiting list.
Yes.
There's a long waiting list there. So I would hope at some point in the future that we can look into maybe forming a relationship with some industries down there to where we either can have it taught, some parts of it taught in that area, and or either have a program where some folks can come up to North Louisiana, maybe on the weekends or something like that form, to where we can kind of meet the need for the demand. We have the demand, we just don't have the support system there to kind of meet that. So that's something that we might be looking forward to in the future. I just want to put that on your mind.
Well, you said it best. I mean, the program is highly sought. When we engage in documenting the degree to which we should move forward, we looked at gaps not only in Northwest Louisiana, but across the state of Louisiana. And it is that recognition that we would try to provide services throughout the state of Louisiana for those who are interested in accessing those programs. So the program, as you pointed out, it provides individuals an opportunity after 2 years to earn over from $55,000 to $75,000. And there is a long waiting list for individuals to get in the program because it is accredited. And so we think that this is just a great pathway forward and really aligns with Southern University of Shreveport's mission. But we would welcome the opportunity of engaging with partners throughout Louisiana, just to ensure that the program is viable and sustaining.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, board's pleasure. Been properly moved and seconded that we adopt item 5B. All those in favor? All those usual sign of aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Action item 5C, recommendation to confer honorary degrees issued BR. Chancellor Smith.
Good morning. Testing. Good morning. On this item on the agenda, we are requesting your approval to confer an honorary doctorate degree to Dr. Modi, Prime Minister of India, upon his acceptance and serving as commencement speaker for the 2015 fall semester. I have placed a copy of the credentials in the board packet. This is also gone to the college. The faculty voted on it. The college dean approved it. The vice chancellor for student affairs, for academic affairs approved it. The academic deans approved it. I have approved it, and also President Mason approved it. And I'm recommending you approve.
Any questions?
This is, of course, conditioned on him accepting the invitation to be commencement speaker. And if it's okay with Chancellor McClinton, I'll just mention that this has been really spearheaded by Dr. Trivedi. He asked this morning that it be put in the form of a resolution so that he can take it with him in India. So if it's okay with the board, I would just ask that it be made in the form of a resolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
This question I have, is this the normal procedure that we use when we confer an honorary degree on a person?
To the best of my knowledge, it is. We normally bring it to the board before we have the commencement exercise, and the board acts on it.
Okay, I guess my concern somewhat is that, I'm okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Board's pleasure. It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt 5C. All those in favor, let it know by aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item on the agenda, 5D, approval of WISE proposal. Mr. President.
About the workforce reduction initiative that was approved by the legislature this last session. We were awarded $2 million, $1.6 million for workforce reduction programs and $400,000 for research. We met with the chancellors and agreed upon an allocation, which is laid out in the documents here. Each of the units who were approved for allocation, which was Southern Baton Rouge, Southern New Orleans, Southern Shreveport, and the Ag Center is included in the research allocation for Southern Baton Rouge. And all of those proposals are in the package here. The process is that this needs to be approved by our board. Once that happens, it goes to the WISE Council for approval, and then from there to the Board of Regents. And one of the reasons that we have it on the agenda for today is that the WISE Council meets Tuesday, and the Board of Regents meets on Wednesday. So we'd like to get this done so we can get our proposals in, like all the other systems have done as of yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any other questions? Comments? If not, may I entertain a motion? Properly moved and seconded that we adopt item 5D. All those in favor, let it know by aye. Those opposed? So adopted. Action item 6, other business. Is there any other business? Yes, sir.
I said, whether you want to present something at this time.
Okay.
Please.
Good morning. At this time, I'd like to read a letter that we received from SACS. The copy of the letter is in the binder under personnel. I know this is the Academic Affairs Committee, and the reason why I want to bring this up is because over the last couple of months, our accreditation was in jeopardy based upon a SACS complaint that was made. At the last meeting, there was a lot of conversation regarding SACS violations and the threat to our organizational structure. And I just would like for everybody to know and to put on the record that we did respond to that complaint, and we received a letter from SACS. And so I'm going to read it. This letter was sent to Mr. McClinton, and it's from SACS. Everybody has a copy. It's going to be made a part of the record. It states, "Dear Mr. McClinton, thank you for your response to the SACS letter of July 4th, 2013, requesting an explanation and documentation regarding your institution's ongoing compliance with standards related to governing boards, qualified administrative/academic officers, and personnel appointment. This request was made following receipt of unsolicited information from media sources regarding the governing board and the administrative reorganization of the institution, which raised questions about Southern University and A&M College at Baton Rouge's ongoing compliance with the principles of accreditation, specifically the distinction between the policymaking function of the governing board and the responsibility of the administration to administer and implement the policy, and a possible conflict of interest. We have reviewed your comments in the documentation submitted by your institution that included minutes of board meetings, August 20th, 2010, November 23rd, 2012, June 6th, 2014, June 30th, 2014, July 25th, 2014, August the 22nd through the 23rd, 2014. Documents related to qualifications and employment of Brandon K. Dumas and Flandis McClinton Jr. Organizational chart approved by the board on June 30th, 2014. Current bylaws of the Southern University Board of Supervisors. After reviewing your comments and the documents submitted by your institution, we determined that the unsolicited information and its accompanying documents did not support a determination of your institution's non-compliance with the principles of accreditation. Therefore, there will be no additional follow-up required by your institution. Thank you for your cooperation in this matter. Sincerely, Dr. Bell S. Whelan. So this puts to rest any fear or any concern that this university did something wrong, this board did something wrong. Those who tried to indict the board for trying to make sure that the Southern University Baton Rouge campus was still operating and would operate in an efficient manner. All that has been put to rest by the response from SAC. So I want everybody to know that this is no longer a concern. Thank you very much.
To our meeting. We're now at the item 6 on our agenda of business. Then we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Our next committee is our Student Affairs Committee Chair, Honorable Raymond Fondale Jr.
Thank you, Reverend Gadd. Can we have a call to order, roll call? Mr. Fondale, Mr. Small, Mr. Clayton, Mr. Fraser, Ms. Smith, Reverend Tolbert, Ms. Denbo. That's a quorum. Okay, can we move for an adoption of the agenda, please? So moved and seconded. All those in favor? We're sitting on the same. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments? Okay. We'll move on to our item 5A, informational item. We're going to ask for an update on the high school visits here by our campus.
Okay. Thank you. This morning I will ask Dr. Dumas to come up and give us an update on the high school visits for the Southern University Baton Rouge campus. Dr. Dumas.
Good morning. Put the screen down. Blessed to celebrate 100 years. Madam Chairwoman and honorable members of the board, good morning and welcome to Southern University's future. As you know, this year we were blessed to celebrate 100 years of excellence, pride, and tradition during our centennial celebration. Today, I am honored to share the progress we have achieved to ensure the longevity of the Jaguar Nation for years to come. Now, more than ever, our university community understands that recruitment and retention are everybody's business. Since being entrusted with these critical responsibilities, our division has taken Southern University brand across the country with the help of our local partners to recruit our next cohort of diverse, college-ready youth to join us here on the bluff. I am proud of our accomplishments this far, yet optimistic about the opportunities which lie before us. It is through our hard work that young men and women from Bogalusa to Baltimore, from Maryland to Miami, from Alexandria to Atlanta, and from St. Francisville to San Francisco will have access to the unique, high-quality educational experience that only Southern University can provide. Earlier this fall, we launched the Pathway to Prominence Tour, an engaging regional recruitment tour designed to expose high school students, counselors, and teachers to the energy and opportunity which abound in the heart of the Jaguar Nation. Mr. Anthony Jackson, the Director of the Office of Admissions and Recruitment, and his team, in partnership with the Student Government Association, the Office of Student Life, the Human Jukebox, the Alumni Federation, and countless others, have led this tour to high schools in East Baton Rouge, Tangier for Hope, and Calcasieu parishes, as well as Houston, Texas, and Huntsville, Alabama. In the coming weeks, the tour is headed to a school near you. The Pathway to Prominence Tour and so many of our initiatives geared toward increasing student retention and recruitment would not be possible without the assistance and encouragement that we've received from our valued supporters. On behalf of our division, I would sincerely like to thank board members Ann Smith and Raymond Fondale for their support and participation in this tour. They joined us in Tangier for Hope and Calcasieu parishes and were indispensable components of our success while in those areas. I would like to thank Acting Chancellor Flanders McClinton for providing us with the resources to turn this idea into a reality and supporting this vision. We have already hired one additional recruiter and identified 2 others who are currently in the employment pipeline. Also, 2 new admissions counselors will be joining our dynamic team before the end of this semester. I am also thankful for the guidance and support of the National Alumni Federation extended by their dedicated president, Attorney Preston Castillo. And finally, I would like to thank Mr. Anthony Jackson for his visionary leadership to the Office of Admissions and Recruitment. During his brief tenure as director, he has introduced an air of innovation and commitment, which I am confident will spur immediate results for our illustrious institution. If Southern University is to reestablish its preeminence as a leading national higher education institution, recruitment must truly be everybody's business. Each student that we identify, recruit, and retain through our graduation strengthens the university's financial footing, enlarges our institutional footprint throughout this nation, and contributes to the dynamic culture and rich tradition that we have offered since 1880. Because of the hard work of so many and your unconditional confidence in our vision, we are one step further along the pathway to prominence.
And in addition to that, I'd just like to share, I don't know if you noticed coming on campus this morning, you may have seen a chart or something similar to this. We are currently busy engaging the campus community in recruitment, and I'm just delighted to share this morning that compared to last year this time, admissions applications have increased by 130%. Today, we have 683 people that have applied to attend Southern University this upcoming fall compared to 284 last year. So we're excited about what we're doing. We're having a lot of fun and spreading the good news of the Jaguar Nation across this country. And we thank you for your support.
Any questions? Dr. Jones, just a couple of things. I do want to commend you. You brought the bus tour in the Calhoun Parish, and I have to tell you, it was exciting. At the high school level, these kids have probably never seen a college band at that level. And the excitement that was there was unbelievable. I have to tell you, there's a lot of energy over there. And I would hope that, if you have that opportunity when it comes to your area, that you'll be able to participate in it. And these are truly where the seeds are being planted. It's my belief this is where the seeds have been planted. And hopefully, we may not see it immediately, but it can be seen over a period of time. These young people have to make decisions, and I think we're touching them in a way that is that's not been done before. So we definitely want to commend you on that and continue doing what it is that you're doing out here for the university. So, anyone have any questions? Dr. Gamble. Reverend Gamble.
Yeah, I'd like to, Dr. Dumas, I know we've been talking about one of the problems we're having with our vehicles. How have we ordered any more vehicles, or how are we standing that our recruiters won't be breaking down on the side of the highway?
The chancellor and I have begun discussing that in the coming months. It's an extensive process in order to do that, but we are in the beginning stages of trying to replace what has become a very outdated fleet of vehicles for our recruiting staff, so they can travel safely across the country.
Attorney Bell.
I too would like to congratulate and commend Dr. Dumas on increasing the overall application pool. I guess my question becomes now, what are your strategies or tactics to close the deal on more people coming to the university in the fall?
Well, something that we struggled with in the past is the follow-up. And this, we have, Mr. Jackson has, I'm sure Mr. Chancellor can attest to this, getting requisitions quite often. We're sending mail, calling. This week, calling posts will be going out from the Chancellor, thanking them for applying to Southern University. College deans, we've been working with the departments, with the deans of each division, to have them to contact those students that have expressed an interest in attending disciplines within their colleges and schools. So it's basically all in the follow-up. We go out and we introduce them to the Jaguar Nation through these tours, and we come back with the information. And I mean, I don't know if it was up there long enough, but you can see Twitter, Facebook, they're all saying, it was an honor. I'm privileged to have seen my college here in my school today. I know what is college that I'll be attending. So far, I mean, based on what we've seen, it's been effective, but we do know that the application is just the first step. And we're working aggressively to convert those from applications to fully admitted students. Excuse me.
One of the questions, are we going to be quicker in the response to letting them know they've been accepted as well?
Absolutely, and we have moved away from using the term provisional admission. That's been something that's confused potential students over time when they get a letter from Southern that says you're provisionally admitted, but some other schools in the state or outside of the state send them a letter and say, congratulations. So now our literature and all of our brochures have been updated. When we accept a student, of course, quite naturally is pending their completion of their high school studies. But when we reach out to them after we process their application, our message to them is welcome to the Jaguar Nation. Congratulations, you have been accepted.
Dr. Tom.
Doing that was an impressive presentation. It's very exciting. I suppose if I were a young person experiencing that, I might be excited all over again. Have you put together a schedule for the rest of the year, showing where these tours are going to be, so that that can be made public? The board certainly should have a copy of that, because the board members want to kind of stick their head in on such activities, such as you did in Lake Charles.
Absolutely.
And also considering using the media to help promote that in advance.
Okay. Duly noted. By next week, we should have a calendar at least through the end of November. The dates that were shown were tentative dates. Actually, this morning we were supposed to be in New Orleans, but there was a conflict, so we had to change. But there are no classes here on Friday, so we've actually tried to take advantage of that versus being a day off and a strict recruiting day. that we can take our show on the road. So I will be sure that that information is passed along to the board office so you all can get it in. We individually reach out to those board members as we did Ms. Smith and Mr. Fondale when we go to their areas and encourage you all to participate.
And the meeting.
And the media. And also, before I have to take my seat, I would be remiss. I see Mr. Hamer in the audience. So he has been an essential part. Students like to hear about Southern University, but we let the band get up after we speak because after the band starts, it's kind of, it takes on a different form. And he's been able, as we've worked through this, he's made himself available. There's not one time that I've called on him that there was ever any reluctance. He's always there. The band is there. And the band beats the staff to the bus on Friday morning. So I just want to say to him publicly also, thank you.
You have another question? Ms. Smith? Comment.
I would just like to say that Dr. Dumas and his staff, you had a very inclusive recruiting package that you presented. It included academics as well as band and athletics. In our area, you visited Meade High and Kentwood High. And one of the blue chippers in that area, Nick Saban, is visiting, and I'm sure you are aware of that. And he's only 10th grade, but he is a blue chipper, and he has been going to Alabama. And after the presentation that you presented, he had a direct interest for Southern University, and I'm sure you're aware of that. I wanted to share it with the Southernites here.
And before you all, you have our staff put together this reflection of our Centennial Homecoming. There is a Centennial yearbook there, magazine that was published in correlation with the Centennial events and some of our new recruitment material. So it's yours to keep, or you can pass it along. If you need more recruitment material, just let us know, and we'll be sure to get it to you.
One other question. Kelly?
I just want to thank Dr. Dumas for addressing the provisional acceptance letter. It has caused a lot of confusion over the last couple of years that I've been here on the board and involved in providing scholarships to high school students. That provisional letter has caused them not to be readily eligible for scholarships because they hadn't gotten a full acceptance letter. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
One other question. Your 12-month goal, what made, I know you're going out to the community. Give us an idea, share with us what your goal is for 12 months from now. Where would you like?
12 months from now, I would hope that we would have welcomed and introduced at least a minimum of 1,500 new freshmen to Southern University at Baton Rouge. There are challenges that we're working through. As you know, Attorney Castile has been in contact with all of you about the Alumni Recruitment Initiative. They have a goal of 3,000. And we're working carefully. It's not a competition, more so a partnership that we're working on. But there are some things that we have to address internally. 3,000 new freshmen showed up here today. We would not be able to accommodate them. So we're working to get residential facilities back online to ensure that when this influx of students comes over the next couple of months, which we are quite confident that will occur, that we're positioned to not only receive them, but to make sure that they receive the quality education that only Southern University can provide. So we're working on that.
One other question is, you mentioned in your video that the financial stability, when we even bring these students in, so that we're kind of clear on it. When you are bringing these students in, it increases enrollment, puts us in a better financial position, so we're able to kind of disperse what it is, that additional revenue throughout the university. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. These are the seeds that we're sowing right now, that we're planting to grow and kind of move the university to. I know we have our challenges financially here, but at the crux of it, my belief is that the students are our prized assets, and drawing them to the university allows us an opportunity to have more revenue and share that revenue amongst all that are here at this university. So that's something I just want to be clear on. Again, thank you. If there are not any more questions, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to item number 6. Any other business? Oh, but I can't, I'm sorry, go ahead. Right.
I'll just give you a brief. Yesterday, we may be making a presentation, so I checked with my staff, and they already gave me some information that I need to share with you. You know, at Suno, we've been very aggressive in making sure that our community is aware of what we are doing at the university. We've shored up our recruitment team, and one of our themes this year is Take Back New Orleans. Of course, as you know, New Orleans is significant to the state. It's a rich community in terms of potential students. As you just heard, Dr. Dumas is coming to New Orleans in a few weeks. So our goal is to take back New Orleans. And so far, we've been to 46, even though we are looking at just 2 months into the semester, we've been to 46 high schools. In the Chamel area, Slidell, Tangi, St. John's. We are communicating with the leadership of those high schools. To the point now, I'm proud to say we have, from what I was informed yesterday, over 17,000 in the pool that we are working with in terms of sending mails, communicating with them, and using what I had for the first time yesterday from my team, e-recruiting. As soon as she said, I said, what do you mean by e-recruiting? Well, meaning that using the internet, using the email, using the social media to recruit kids from around the country. And you also know that our standard has gone up this fall. So we are attempting to also address that through communicating with the Board of Regents to see whether there's a possibility of revisiting that standard, because it is not a situation where it is helping many students, potential students in the state. And they also ask us to look at our adult population, 25 years and over. So we've redefined our policy in recruiting adult students such that all they need to do is have a GED, and then we come up with a different approach whereby we can get them to meet the requirement of the no remedial. And that approach is to conduct what we call a campus camp to bring the adult student or any other student that may not have met the ACT requirement, come in and take a quick two weeks crash course in passing campus. And if they meet a certain standard there, then obviously they meet the requirement to come to the university. So ACT is not the only, it has been the impediment in the past, but now we can find a way to overcome that by bringing any student that wants to come to SUNO, come through some kind of crash course to pass the campus test, and if they do well, they come in. Last semester, we were able to get 37 students to the university through this approach. And some of them we even gave free housing and paid the faculty members from our own resources to teach these individuals. And it worked for us last semester. Share that with the president, and I think we're going to do that again going forward to try to give our people increased access in spite of the strict standard that the Board of Regents is making us to adhere to. Our plan is to give them the training, teach the students, pay the faculty, and get our students to meet the standard. And with that approach, we believe we'll be able to address some of these the restrictions that's placed on us. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me. I've asked Dr. Williams if she would prepare a response to this action item. If you would proceed.
Good morning, most honorable members of the board. And I want to thank you for this opportunity for us to share with you our recruiting efforts. And of course, our advertising efforts to share the good news of what we're doing in North Louisiana at SUSLA. Our enrollment affairs team has been charged by Chancellor Belton to make this one of the largest classes in our history. This year we experienced the third largest class in our history, and we've had some really great success. So the enrollment management team has been working very diligent to make that dream a reality. Before I share with you our current efforts, I'd like to highlight how we come to making data-driven decisions on where we recruit and where we advertise so that we can really see the yield on our efforts. Typically, we monitor enrollment and by focusing on neighboring parishes such as DeSoto, Claiborne Parish, Webster Parish, and many areas in the surrounding Caddo Parish and Bossier area. We've been saturating those areas with billboards, advertisements in the newspapers. Of course, our radio programming has been very extensive and reaching out even further than we have before. We've done something really unique in the past, and we've done church visits, and we go out to where kids are on Sundays and where the parents are making decisions on Sundays and really share the good news of what we're doing. Since our data shows that we have a large population of non-traditional students, we focus our discussions with potential students about continuing education opportunities, such as our GED program, the Brownsville training program, the LPN certificate programs, and of course, our online opportunities that are attractive to those that are seeking to enhance their education. As you know, SUSLA is committed to providing more programs that meet the needs of the Louisiana workforce, programs that are in high demand, high wage jobs. And so that's really important to us in North Louisiana. And I know the real question is, how have we been so successful? And I'll give you an idea of how we've really been successful in recruiting and enrolling. And it's because we never fail to realize that every opportunity, that every chance that we get a chance to meet someone, that we know that it's a potential student, be it an adult or an 18-year-old student. So that means when we recruit an 18-year-old high school student, that we're also recruiting their parents to come back and to continue their education at SUSLA. Now, this year we've made some strategic decisions about our recruiting and advertising processes that includes expanding our reach even more. That means since August, our recruiters have been to over 27 sites presenting the SUSLA experience to potential students. Our staff has personally emailed 1,023 students and sent 920 pieces of mail in our direct mail campaign. Finally, you should know that our goal is to increase our visibility, increase our applicants, quickly turn our applicants into admits, and ultimately make our admits Jaguars. At this time, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer them about our efforts or share with you any other additional data about what we do at SUSLA.
So you say you had 27 visits?
27 visits over the past, since August. So that means we're out probably twice a week, if not more.
What kind of reception have you got?
Well, we've gotten really great reception. You have about about over 1,500 students that we have in our prospect pipeline.
Any questions? Comment?
I was impressed to see a huge billboard. I thought that was excellent advertisement.
Thank you.
Just in traveling.
Yeah, we have our I Did It, You Can Too campaign, which targets our non-traditional students. And so we have a graduate that's non-traditional. She was our valedictorian last year. And so we put her on our billboard. And she returned back to SUSLA. I think you all had an opportunity to meet her at our board meeting. So we put her on our billboard because what better advertisement is it to have someone who graduated valedictorian at 60 years old to come back to school and have the success that she's had.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, at the Law Center, our primary recruiting efforts are at universities around the state, and we also have some recruiting fairs that our recruiter attends out of the state as well. Our primary, we have what we call feeder schools, and those feeder schools we spend a lot of time at. And believe it or not, LSU is the biggest feeder school that we have. We've been putting some concentration, however, concentrating on doing more here at our own school. We've had built up our contact with the Honors College, and we've specifically had honors students from the Honors College come over to the Law Center and spend some time, and we kind of introducing them to the Law Center. Most of those students are interested in STEM, and we're trying to show them the advantages of what a law degree can do for them. But we do have some efforts in high schools. For instance, we have the Marshall Brennan Project, where we have students who actually go into high schools and teach constitutional law. And that's a very good program to expose students at an early stage about the Constitution and also Southern University Law Center, because as part of that project, they also engage in a moot court competition. So hopefully that's a good feeder project or pipeline project for us from the high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Dr. Thomas?
As the picture mentioned, it spurred this thought. Recently, there was a front page article in the Baton Rouge Advocate on the success of an online program at Southern University Laboratory School. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the article said they had recruited over 600 students. And I thought to myself, if they're now doing that around the state, I'm wondering if something like what we're doing with Susler can be done with our lab school and helping all of your campuses further recruit students. In other words, reaching into our high schools, it may be possible to expand the very kind of offerings we have at the lab school online. They also may be an important resource tool for you. And so I would like to ask someone, is someone here from the Baton Rouge campus knows anything about that that lab school program? It's an online.
Castile.
You do.
Castile.
Well, I'll ask you then. I just thought 600 and waiting. Yeah. That's great. It's something I thought we might be able to explore. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes, we're extremely proud of the lab school. I've met with the principal and I've met with Dr. Young and Dr. People. And that is an outstanding project. In fact, when he brought it to me, I mean, everybody was excited. He said that he has a large waiting list and there's room for expansion. If you want to really go into detail, Dr. People was on the ground level with this, and I would ask her to come up if you want me to. How you want to do it at another time, just let me know.
Well, I'd like to see at least a report to our Academic Affairs Committee at our next board meeting. We can do that with respect to that subject, because I think it has a lot of potential which you're thinking of.
Yes, sir, we'll provide it to you.
I see. Okay.
All right, thank you for the information, and we look forward to Attorney Dumas providing us with individuals who they can speak at our next meeting. Also, Dr. Peoples also, they can kind of get together presentations to us here. We want to thank everybody who has commented, all of the campuses for their input and for all that they're doing to try to bring additional students here to the university. Again, it is very, very, very important to what it is that we do here at Southern University. So again, we want to thank you. And with that being said, we're going to move on at this time to item number 6. Any other business? If not, we're going to ask, move for the adjournment. So move for second. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Next committee is our Personal Affairs Committee, chaired by the Honorable Reverend Dr. Samuel Thomas.
This time I'd like to call to all the Personnel Affairs Committee meeting. A roll call, Mr. President.
Reverend Tolbert, Mr. Lawson, Mr. Braxton, Mr. Clayton, Reverend Gant, here, Mr. Fondell, Ms. Smith, Ms. Denbo, Ms. Quorum.
Thanks. This time I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda, please. Moved and second, all in favor? All opposed, ayes have it. Any public comments at this time?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Tom Miller, President of the SGBR Faculty Senate. And I'd like to begin by saying, I was asked earlier in the meeting what department I'm in, and I'd like to share that with all members of the board. I'm in the Department of Foreign Languages. I'd like to say that the addressing item 5A, that I am of the opinion that the board acted wisely in not having approved salary adjustments and so on at the last board meeting prior to knowing what the response from SACS would be. In my opinion, that's the correct order that we should be proceeding in a university. And this morning, if you've looked at the resolution that was passed by the Faculty Senate, what we're asking for is a comprehensive plan that has in view all members of this community who are working here, staff, faculty, and administrators. Now, one of the issues, or the key issue here, is that faculty and staff do not seem to be in view at all when we're talking about adequate compensation. As an example, this board in 2013 approved a reorganization chart for the campus that combined colleges and took us down to 6. We have deans who are now in charge of multiple colleges, whereas before they were in charge of 1. There was a recommendation that was made that dean's salaries be put at a base of $115,000. In fact, 4 of the 6 deans, or 6 colleges, already meet that mark. And what we were asking is that with the additional duties that were given to deans, those 2 deans who were not at that salary level be compensated. That's a way of taking care of faculty. Our chairs were asked to work on a 12-month basis, which they were not doing before. And they were told that their salaries would be annualized, that we would, the campus would make sure that that would happen. And those chairs took on those duties, but when it came time to make a decision, we were told, well, we just don't have the funds for that. Now, I understand we're in a tight fiscal position. I'd also like to say that I believe that our prospects for getting out of it lie in recruitment. And I have to say, this is not a personal agenda in the least. I think Dr. Dumas is doing a wonderful job in recruiting for this campus. I think our alumni president, Castile, has a very powerful plan in place. What the Faculty Senate is asking for is that the staff and the faculty be given consideration when this board is looking at adequate compensation. We have not had a raise of any kind since 2008. And so what that means in terms of real dollars is this. Cost of living is going up by 2% a year. It's been 6 years. We are making 12% less today than we were in 2008. And I won't even get into the question of staffing, because a lot of the blame, at that retreat in March in Marksville, we talked about firing people who aren't doing their job. And my response was, give folks the resources and the staffing to do the job they need. And I'll end with this. The problem, the way to get out of this fiscal bind is to put people in enrollment who can process applications, give resources that this university can use to go out and recruit, And that's being done. I'm fully confident of that. All we're asking for is to keep staff and faculty in view. Let's get a plan. In fact, the Faculty Senate has committed to presenting this board with a plan for incrementally addressing the issue of inadequate compensation before the next meeting of the board. Thank you.
Good morning. Mr. Brown from the physical plant. I'd like to ask all the civil service workers to stand. I figured that last time I sort of like came along, but I brought a force with me this time, which means to make a point. We're still at the same status we were before. And this gentleman that just spoke really made some points clear, but we're still at the same point. We're very concerned as being the staff at this university. Where do we stand here? We're going nowhere. No one's doing anything for us. No one's looking out for us. Like he said, it's 8 years ago since we got a merit raise pay increase of any sort. Beyond that, we were furloughed 2010 to 2013. After that, they gave us a $1,000 bonus, which boiled down to about $800 after taxes, which is nothing. Now, within that period of time from 2008 to now, the governor has reported allocated at least 3 to 4 increases that we haven't seen anything here for staff-wise at this university. Well, I heard this young lady spoke well about Shreveport and other areas that are doing well around us, but we are the flagship, to my understanding. Now, how's the flagship sinking and the tugboats are still floating? Everybody else has good news, you know, and we don't have anything good to say, you know. And I'm kind of wondering, you know, is something wrong here? I mean, if I'm sinking and my tugboat's floating, then that means they got to pull me, and that's not right. We are very concerned about why is no one considering in this growing of this university and all the extensive work and things that are going on in this university to move up and to promote things and make things better. Now, Dr. Carpenter spoke last time, which is the last board meeting we were at. And things have moved up for us, our recruiting and getting students in here. But it's like I said last time, we can get them, but we got to find a way to keep them. Now, let's look at this. We are talking about the importance and the extensive outreach that the faculty has done and is doing for us and for this university and all the other properties of that matter. But let's look at this. Now, we got vice chancellors, vice this, vice that, assistant this, assistant that, this, that. If you take 1 or 2 out of every one of those departments for 2 days or 3 days out of this week, that faculty is still going to go on, everything is still going to be normal, everything's going to still be lovely. But you take 2 men out of air conditioning, 2 out of carpentry, 2 out of electrician, 4 out of buildings, and then leave us out for 3 or 4 days, and I want to hear what you guys got to say. There'll be all kinds of calls, all kinds of emails, all kinds of memos, which brings out we serve an important part in this university that I can't seem to get through to nobody. Nobody's understanding that we are just as vital as anything else out here. The point is that, believe it or not, and you, regardless of how you want to look at it, we can almost function out on this university without practice everything we're looking at it here. But you take this away, and there we're going nowhere here. I mean, we got powerful people up here. We can revenue funds, we can get things done, we can make mountains move, we can do things that some of us can't do. But without us, regardless of how you want to look at it. Without us, we're nothing standing in here. We can't do anything for the students. You can't please them with confidence in no kind of way without this staff here, without this staff. Not the faculty, the staff. The faculty job is higher than ours, is much different. It's just as important as our job is. But our job is more vital to the matter of what we're doing out here. We're running an institution. Things has to happen. We got to show things. We got to make ourselves look like what we appear to be. And it's just not going to happen without us. And it's not going to too much be happening until somebody start recognizing us. Now, we I read in the newspaper last week, the governor has approved also another state raise for all state workers. Now, what's going to happen this time? How are we going to come up short? How are we going to miss this boat? They're here at this university. I'm not speaking of Shreveport, New Orleans, all over. They're going to get there. Shreveport got 3% last year. We didn't see nothing in the last 8 years. I don't know about New Orleans or some of these other ones, but I know about here. Now, they have, the attendance and everything, the students and everything is moved up in Shreveport, but you can count on that the morale of the employees around them had to have a big effect on that because they were getting raises. Things had changed. They had an outlook of a future looking better for them. We don't have that here. We don't have it here. We just drag in the work and we try to do our job knowing that we're going to get beat down every day. And we can't run to nobody because nobody listening. We're going to get together, call a meeting, go to the head board member, see can we reach somebody. Who in here can we reach? I'm asking, who can we reach in here that can see another side of this coin? Because when this coin flips, we all going down. It's not going to be no faculty, no staff, no this or that. When the right people come in and take over, as you want to look at it like that, I mean, you might not want to hear, but it's going to be. If we can't get it together, somebody's going to get it together. I've seen it done. I know it can be done, and I know it will be done. Now we need to get it together. We need to get it together as a whole. Put this faculty and the staff matter. Stop trying to separate this. Put this all together. Put this whole university together, and then let's try to see where we can go. Stop looking out for selves in your own selves, in your own pocket, in your own publicity, and building yourselves up. You can't live alone. You can't work alone. This was not built alone. We are built to here all together. And for us to stand, we're going to have to stand together. Now, let's do it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Jackson, Interim President of the Stein Senate. My remarks are brief. I believe everything I've ever wanted to say has been said between the two previous individuals. And I do want to say thank you because I know we normally have a time limit, but I appreciate the fact that you heard him and you didn't rush him and hold him to the 1 and 2 minutes. I think this is the first time in a long time that I can look back and see a handful, more than a handful, of staff employees, and I think that should be recognized. Again, I think this question he asked at the end, what are you going to do? Who's going to support him? I think it needs to be said again. Who is going to stand with us? I'm looking at the article here, and yeah, he approved, I think, with 60 million, and some money has been going to raises. I'm told that some institutions aren't going to get it due to budget cuts, but we're not listed. So we want to know, when is that money coming to us? When can we expect to receive our increases? Because I've been here almost 8 years, and it has been that long since we've received some increase. I think maybe 3 board meetings ago, I heard board member Smith said that she wanted to do like an overhaul, go back and look at the inequities with salaries. And I emailed the board and I asked to be a part of that. I haven't heard from anyone just yet, but I'm hopeful that someone will respond back to me and say, yes, we'll sit down with you, we'll look at it. I see you have before you in just a few minutes to decide increases, new appointments, so on and so forth. And not that I'm trying to take money from anybody, but I would encourage you to push pause on that for a minute before you make a decision, because there are many people here who are making minimum wage, if that, well, minimum wage and maybe barely. And again, these are the people, you all will be complaining if there were no lights here, the facilities weren't clean, so on and so forth. So I'm asking you, before you make decisions on some of these big ticket salaries, that you go back and look at the funds that you do have and give it to the people who have been doing so much for so long, who's been furloughed, who's been messed over in so many ways, and give them the consideration that's needed. I'd rather them get an increase before I get an increase myself. That's what I'm asking you to do. Thank you much.
Good morning. Albert Samuels, Vice President, Faculty Senate, Chair of the Department of Criminal Justice and Political Science. It's hard to follow Mr. Brown. But here goes. Here goes. A letter was read earlier in the meeting about SAC's response, SAC's response to our response to them about the organizational chart. And while it should be noted that while the letter says SACS has no problem with this, and therefore if we want to make the salary adjustments in this meeting that we declined to make in the last meeting, that still does not address the question of the wisdom of doing it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Now, the basis, part of the basis for our argument was not just simply the questions that we had about SACS. It was an issue of fairness, an issue of equity. We have had deans on this campus who were part of a legal organization that this board approved, chairs who take on additional responsibilities for an organization that this board approved, and who have taken on additional responsibilities, and they have not gotten compensated for that. It's not just that they didn't get their money. It's the idea we didn't have an apology, an explanation. We didn't even say, oh, we're working on it, we understand. Nothing. Since January 1, they've been doing the responsibilities and no compensation for it. But the moment an administrator takes on additional responsibilities, oh, that goes to the top of the agenda. We can't wait. This is an urgent matter. We have to deal with this. Again, if this had been an isolated incident, we wouldn't be here. Yes. I've been here 15 years. In the spring of 2000, after faculty had to jump through hoops to get an average 3% raise, that spring semester, we turned around and gave administrators a 27% raise on average. Didn't require them to meet any performance targets, none of that stuff. And ever since then, we have been on a trajectory where we have been doing actually what other universities around the country have been doing. This is a national trend, by the way, around the country, increasing administrative salaries, increasing administrative jobs at the expense of faculty. So what we're doing here, unfortunately, what we're considering doing, unfortunately, is not isolated to Southern University. It's a national problem. There's a book I call The Fall of the Faculty that basically talks about this. So the problem is we can't afford it. What we're doing is what I call Negro trickle down. It's this idea that we just hand more money to administrators at the top. And somehow that will trickle down to the rest of us. Well, it's election season. The election returns are in. It hadn't worked. We're worse off now than we were before we started this tragedy. And so that raises this whole question here about recruitment. We had a long meeting here in July. And the big takeaway, one of the big takeaways was that SUNO has 6 admissions counselors. We had 1.5. Okay.
But the strategy seems to be, let's put more money at the top. And we done a lot, we done a whole lot of things, but the urgent priority should be making sure that we have more recruiters, more people to process the application. We still have not addressed that. That's the more urgent priority. You know, we can have all these nice recruitment tools, but we don't have enough people to actually process the applications. When they come in, we still have not. We'll be here sitting here next year, still trying to hopefully that we made our budget. But that's a symptom of the problem that we have, that we continue to prioritize those at the top. So that's what our concern is. You know, I'm not dissing the job that Dr. Dumas is doing or anyone else is doing in that area. That's a very impressive presentation. They're doing a lot of hard work. I appreciate that. But you know what? The Dean of the College of Social Sciences is doing a lot of hard work too. And so was the Dean of Education, Arts and Humanities, and all around his campus. But we seem to think that administrators must go first. And that's why all these people are standing here. Okay, so take that into consideration. Again, we're not here to be obstructive, and we're not against people getting their money. It's not about personal, it's not that they don't like anybody. But we got a serious issue here that you feel folks need to really think about. We love Southern. And we all want to go in the right direction. But we really need to think about what we're doing. And that's all we're saying.
It's not over. I thought he was going to talk a little more. Honorable members of this board, my name is again Jola Baga Yoko. I am a Southern University System Distinguished Professor of Physics. And I am one of those chair of not one, not two, but three departments who doesn't have a secretary and who naturally hasn't gotten any raise. But I'm not here to complain about that. No. I do have to say that the remark made by my president, I'm talking about Dr. Thomas Miller, the president of the Faculty Senate, and my vice president, who conveyed to you the resolution of the Faculty Senate, of which I am the parliamentarian, is certainly something with which I associate myself, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But having said that, I thought I had to come here so that I underscore a blunder made at very many levels in order so that we can avoid it in the future. What is a blunder? Last time I made it clear at this podium that there is no money now to have faculty raises. It does not matter how badly one may want to give it. There's no money. The same is true for staff raises. There is no money. Why is it people are not articulating things correctly? And I said last time that, by the way, even though these raises may be questionable, if this is what is going to give us finally the recruitment we need, the student number we need, that is going to bring 1 million, then by all means, let's finally get out of the bottom of the pit. I said this, but somehow nobody is communicating to people what they need to know. So faculty members are out there saying raises are being given to this. First of all, for Mr. Clark, it is not a raise, really. Why? because the position he has is a position that was occupied by somebody and he's just replacing that person. Well, number two, the half of his salaries is out of the Title III money, which if we don't pay it to him, by the way, we have to return it back. So, but the rest of us are not on Title III, and therefore we cannot give them that money. That's one. That's Mr. Clark. The director of recruitment, hey, for heaven's sake, we need one. So one cannot talk about race there. It's out of the question. We're simply hiring director of recruitment. We need one. No question. So the question now is Dr. Dumas. And yesterday at the faculty senate meeting, when I did mention to somebody, I said, let's be careful. It may well be that the supplement Dr. Dumas is getting may not necessarily be coming from the general fund. It may be coming from auxiliary fund, which is coming from student affair work and so forth, in which case I see it as the case of a football coach getting $3 million salary because he's bringing $70 million, $30 million to the campus. Go ask Alabama and ask LSU, you will understand what I'm talking about. And sure enough, when I did check the PAF, what do I see? While for the other is the general fund and Title III, in his case, the regular salary is there, but the increment is basically coming out of what's the name of auxiliary fund, which is not something we can give to others. But for some reason, we are not articulating to the people what they need to know. And when we don't know all of these, they conclude, okay, you are giving raise to this one, you are forgetting me. But we don't have money to do it. The way we are going to be able to do it is by having these people do the fantastic job. The reason we got into all this problem is because the recruitment office was not manned, and now, by the way, people are out there, reviewers are out there, but beginning to do the work. So I won't keep on talking. I just want to came to say, let us get into the habit of informing as thoroughly as we can people so that they will not feel this is being done and they are being forgotten. Because as I told you at the beginning, and I'll go sit down now, otherwise, if I didn't know all those things I know, I would have told you, but I'm a chair here, not of one department, not of two, but of 3 departments, mathematics, physics, and science and math education. I don't even have a secretary, and I haven't had a raise. Don't talk about any adjustment for the reorganization. But I'm not complaining, because I don't have the money.
Is there any other public comments? If not, we will now move to action item 5. And if the committee desires, we can take action items 5A, 1 through 12 together. Or, yes.
I move for approval.
All right, we have a motion. It's been moved and second. All in favor, vote by saying, yeah. Okay.
I would like, in that we have, this has been a controversial issue with the salaries. And we do have 3 or 4 experienced board members that are not here. And I feel that everybody should have the opportunity to look at these salaries. And I would like to make a substitute motion requesting that we put these salaries on hold, except for number 6. It's not a new salary. The money is in the budget. We do need to stabilize our band director, and the salary is already there. So I would like to pull number 6 and make a substitute motion that we act on number 6 and put the other salaries on hold.
Okay, there's a substitute motion from Ms. Ann Smith. that we act only on item 5A6 and put all of the other items on hold. Is there a second to the motion? All right, is there any discussion now on the substitute?
I guess I would like to, if this was an issue with SAC, I think last time there was something ready for it, SAC.
We can't hear, I'm sorry.
That seems to have been cleared up. I would like to, I think the issue with the band director is very, very important. I also think the sentiment here, it looks like is we can move on and try to take care of all this at the same time. I don't know if there's anybody else that feels the same way. I would like to vote on the band director separately, but I also would like to put the vote on some of the other people that's up for.
So you want,
The only thing is that if we vote on the band director separately on Ms. Smith's substitute motion,
We don't vote on that.
no, that's right, we put the others on hold, so. Yep, we
need
should.
another substitute
Yeah, as
motion.
much as I probably would vote for Mr. Hamer, I would not vote for the substitute motion because it's putting everything else on.
Okay.
So I just want to make that clear.
Can I withdraw that motion and do another substitute?
Excuse me, Reverend Gann.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, I respect what Ms. Smith is saying, but let's quit playing games. The people who did not vote last month said the reason they did not vote is because they felt it was a SACS violation. That's been cleared up. If we come back next month, are you gonna come up with another excuse? Let's vote it up at that. And the other thing of it is, every board member, is no such thing experienced board member. A board member is a board member. And everybody know we had this board, and I think everybody knew what was coming before this agenda today. We cannot, I don't understand people, how we keep slapping, and let's cut through the cut, one person down, and we keep applauding when he's doing the work, but we don't want to pay him. How can you separate paying a band director, and I'm for that. I think we're doing the right thing. But at the same time, how can we say we're going to pay him the money's in the budget? The money's in the budget for the other positions. And I think Dr. Bagioka made more sense than anybody heard in a long time. Is that we need to just say to people and explain to them that it's not that this board don't see your worth and your value. But when monies are coming different ways, you can only work with the money that you have in that area. And the thing that's going to help us be able to deal with staff is increase our enrollment. And now that which we have moving our enrollment up, we want to get, that's part of the problem why enrollment is down now, is because this board did move 5 months ago to get something that we all know the truth of the matter. We went through almost 4 months with the chancellor's office, bam, nothing happened. And during that time, we didn't have our mechanism moving for enrollment. So when we found this board did something, we had over 4,000 people that showed interest in coming to this university. But at the time we started moving on it, they had changed their mind. So we're saying that's our proper deal here. We want to kick this can down the road another month. And so let's put it off. I think we ought to just go on and deal with it and vote it up and vote it down and quit playing with people and let's move on. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I think Ms. Smith was attempting to.
I was only going to concur that I respect Vice Chair's comments on all of his beliefs. However, I have my beliefs. And I believe at this time that when I looked at the salaries, like Dr. Bagioka said, there's some things that I was not informed about as far as some of the salaries coming from other areas. So if I had a more in-depth knowledge of these situations, perhaps I would. That's what I've been asking for. I've been asking that we do some kind of study and present it so that we will know about the salaries. It's just that looking at it from a board member's point of view and not knowing the full details, then actually it does make me think that
at this point, we need stability for our band. This is marching season. This is the time of the year that the band is spending 12, 18 hours a day. And we do need stability. It's not a raise that the band, and it's a position and it's his salary. So with that in mind, I think that we should stabilize that. And then with the others, we should work. I would be the first to say that our student affairs, Dr. Dumas and his staff and others are working. Everybody is working. But at this time, we have not even gotten the as far as what's happening with recruitment. We don't have anything. As a result, have we had an enrollment increase? As a result, have we had a system-wide situation where we've looked at it to see if we're getting better at it, or has our enrollment dropped, or has it come up? We haven't had the time. We need some time to see the results of what we're doing with our recruitment. And I do think that they're working hard. I know they're working hard, but we need some kind of data to show that it is being effective.
Well, are you withdrawing your substitute motion? That's what you started to say earlier.
I said I will withdraw that substitute motion, and then I'll ask that I will do another motion saying that I feel that we should act on each one individually then.
Okay, she's made a substitute motion. How we act on each one individually? Is there a second?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
When you say each one, you're talking about each one of the numbers.
1 through 13 on an individual basis.
1 through 13? That's like 13? I don't have a 12 on mine.
Well,
There's only
12.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be fine. So
Marla Dixon, 13.
Huh?
Look at your list, and number 13 says Marla.
That's not what it says
Dickerson.
on my sheet. It says 12. So
Okay.
maybe we just have a different list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need to give her the update.
Okay.
Is it 12 or 13?
Let me look at the new one. She said that it has been revised.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we
The
have.
new one does say 12.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not. All right, so we're supposed to vote on this substitute motion that's been moved under Dan Smith, I think second by Mr. Meyer. So at this time, could we have a roll call vote on this substitute motion?
Mr. Reverend Colbert, I'm sorry.
Yes, hold on just a second. Mr. Fondell, he got my attention first. Well, he was doing it for you. Okay. all right.
I'm not on the committee anymore. I need somebody else to say.
Well, you off.
You know,
So we need someone else on the personnel committee. If that substitute motion is going to go forward, it has to get a second. If it doesn't get a second, then we go back to the original motion. Is there a second? There's not a second. So at this time, I would like to ask that we have a vote on the original motion. And we can do a roll call vote on that motion. That's right. The original motion was to accept items 5A1 through 12 in global. Yes. So at this time, Mr. President, you can call.
Reverend Toller,
Yes.
Mr. Watson, Mr. Braxton, Mr. Clayton, Reverend Gann. Yeah. Mr. Fondell.
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
yes.
Ms. Dimble.
Yes.
Pastor.
Okay. So any other business that comes up before the committee at this time, Mr. Fondell?
On the individuals that spoke here today, and I will make mention of this because Mr. Brown made mention earlier that when we did have the funds available last year, we as a board, the administration put into place one-time increase at that particular time. I spoke earlier on committee and mentioned the fact that recruitment is important. The mere fact that the legislature, the money that we're getting seems to not be adequate each year. The way that we kind of make that up is by bringing students in. And I would hope that at some point here, we're better able to communicate to everybody because we're all on the same team. And sometimes some of us may want to run as compared to sometimes some of us want to pass, but we all want to get to the end zone. And we do want to consider everybody that is here for raises when that money is available. And I think the administration supports that, and I know the board as a whole supports that also. When that time comes, when it is available, when enrollment is in a position as such that we're able to do it, then yes, we will, be able to consider that. It's just not there now. And the doctor mentioned that earlier, so I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you very much. Any other business? If not, I entertain a motion. The move. A motion for adjournment. I need a second. I'll second. All right. Okay. All in favor, vote by saying aye. We adjourn. All right.
Thank you,
Chair.
This committee, Mr. Bale, I would ask that you would chair this committee for us.
All right, well, I'll call the meeting of the Finance Committee, order. Can we get a roll call?
Mr. Fraser, Mr. Hendricks, Mr. Meyer, Mr. Small, Dr. Tauber, Ms. Dimbo. That's the quorum.
All right, I'll now entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda. Been properly moved and properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Nays have the same privilege. Seeing no nays, the agenda is adopted. I will now entertain any public comments germane to the agenda. Seeing nobody walk to the podium, we will now move to action items. Action item 5A, request approval of non-resident tuition out-of-state fees for sustenance. Dr. Bella.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You were noting in your packet that we are requesting your consideration to increase the out-of-state fees for students. Upon assessment of our fee schedule, we found that that our out-of-state fee is woefully below that of our peer institutions. And so we asked your consideration to make that alignment favorable to those other community colleges who represent our peers.
Thank you, Dr. Golden. I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the request of approval of non-resident tuition. So it's been properly moved. Do I have a second? Been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposition? The motion passes. We'll now move to number 6, informational items. Fiscal year 2014-2015 interim financial status report as of September 30th, 2014 for the SU system entities. Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Bell, members of the board, members of the committee. You have in your package a update on the financial status of the Southern University system in total and by campus as of September 30th, 2014. I guess in terms of highlights, it appears as though we're, as a system, fairly on course to meet the budget. Although I must point out that we had some stress at some of the campuses. There's been some talk a little bit about enrollment, and the enrollment numbers have been, I guess, submitted in terms of the official enrollment. And we're seeing an enrollment decline at each and every one of our campuses, ranging from nearly 14% at SUNO to just over 2% at the Shreveport campus. Looking at the financial status, that's going to impact tuition revenues, although for the most part, the tuition budgets have been set at a level that is within the range of the enrollment. The biggest shortfall is probably going to be with SUNO and also with the law center. But overall, in terms of the overall budget, we're fairly on target with the revenue. Expenses are running pretty much on schedule with projections. Operating expenses in Baton Rouge are a little bit ahead of those projections, so that could cause some concern. Of course, the chancellor and the campus are aware of that and will respond accordingly. So I'm pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Questions on the declining enrollment by campus. You mentioned 14% for SUNO, and you didn't give a definite number for the others. You said something about 2% for Shreveport.
No, okay. Going by campus, the numbers that have been reported from the campuses show Baton Rouge, a decline of 446 students, which equals 6.7%, primarily due to the reclassifications of the Susla Connect cross-registered students. In the Law Center, seeing a decline of 47 students, which represents 6.89%. At the New Orleans campus, a decline of 442 students, negative 13.92%. And at the Shreveport campus, a decline of 61 students, representing 2.02%. So for the totals for the Southern University system, we're seeing a decline in overall head count from 13,621 students to 12,630 students. That's a negative 991 students, or 7.28%.
Yes, Mayor Henry. What is your student enrollment decline? I don't have budget numbers in front of me. What is your offset to take up the slack? And I have another question.
Well, the offsets will be in operating services and in personnel costs. Right now in the budget, these numbers have just come in and been finalized, so the chancellors on each of the campuses will be looking at their budgets and making sure that proper adjustments are made.
Okay, and my second question is the salary increases that were just approved by the Personnel Committee. Have they been factored into your budget?
Those salary increases have been recommended from the campuses. And again, the campus level budgets are under review by the campus officials, and we expect that appropriate adjustments will be made.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question.
I don't have the answer to the question. The answer to your question is on the campus level.
It's on the campus level?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then as far as at your level, those numbers have not been factored in?
At my level, I don't think that the review has occurred yet because the numbers are relatively new. They've got to evaluate the impact on the budgets on the campus level.
Okay, so we got declining student enrollment, which we have to make adjustments, and we have increased in salary dollars.
Yes, sir.
Does it mix? Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
I would like to respond to that. I have developed a spreadsheet and I can share it with you. The salary increases that we just approved resulted in a $27,500 savings plus fringe benefits based on our collapsing position. So it does not cause an increase in the budget. In fact, it causes a decrease in the budget. Now, I'd be happy to share the spreadsheet with you, sir. All right.
Yeah. You know, that's the kind of information that I think ought to be out up front ahead of this stuff out here, because if it had been out there, then I'm sure it would have relayed some concerns. And I wish in the future maybe we could think about amplifying that, okay? Particularly for the benefit of people who are gone. who were here earlier, understanding what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it.
If you go back to the minutes, the last time, Dr. Tarver, I did indicate it was a savings, and I did indicate the amount. But I will do better in the future, looking at these things.
Great.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing no other questions or comments, we'll move to the next item, which is other business, or is there any other business for the finance committee? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. Been properly moved and seconded. We are adjourned. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Call order. Roll call, President.
Mr. Dumas.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Mr. Bell. Reverend Gant. Mr. Hendricks.
Here.
Mr. Meyer.
Here.
Dr. Tarver. Reverend Tolbert. Ms. Denbo. That's a quorum.
May I have a motion?
All in favor? In opposition? Public comments? Ain't nobody coming to the microphone. 5, informational item, priority projects update by campuses. You have anything to
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Dumas,
Yes, sir.
members of the committee. You have in your packet a summary of project highlights and updates. And what you, I guess for a couple of highlights, the dorm demo project is still mostly complete, but they're still carrying off debris. The new road is holding up on the E.C. Harrison. Moving forward with architectural selections for the lab school project, and the University Place project is construction has been completed there. Suno continuing to move forward with the architectural selections and the design on the major buildings that are going to be constructed on the Suno campus with $1 billion. And you approved some demolitions at the last board meeting, which are going to proceed according to schedule. At SUSLA, we've gotten some funding for new classroom building and architectural planning moving forward on the Allen. That's a summary of the highlights with the projects, and certainly if you have any questions, we can respond.
Any questions, any comments? Maybe I would like to ask you, or the president, I want to see Mr. Palmer there. I saw in the bond.
Yes, on the central bond?
Yeah. The bond dealing with the activity center.
Oh, yes. Well, you saw a report in the newspaper today.
Yes.
That the bond commission had approved a series of projects, and within that was over $400,000 for some improvements at the Action Clark Activity Center.
Yeah, I don't know if the leak or not, Mr. President, but I think that's what we're trying to get fixed. Is that?
So I also included in the bill, I just saw it today.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to thoroughly review it yet.
I was saying with the good news, I wanted you to make part of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any other question, Mr. Appleton, in reference to the information in the package? None about the baseball field?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Appleton. Any other business that come before the committee? Thank you.
Thank you. Committee Chair, Honorable Baron Meyer.
Meeting is hereby called to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Meyer. Here. Mr. Bell. Here. Mr. Braxton, Mr. Clayton, Mr. Fondell. Reverend Gant. Here. Mr. Small. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Denbo, that's a core.
Here. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
A motion and second to adopt the agenda is written. Any questions on readiness? All in favor say aye. Any opposition? Ayes have it. We'll move to agenda item number 4, public comments, or any public comments come before the committee. Seeing no one come forward, we'll move to action item 5A, request for approval of proposal of ticket office convenience fee charge for road football games, SUBR. This is something that was on the agenda before. We have the necessary documentation that the board was looking for, the chair was looking for. I have the athletic director is here to come. Please come out to discuss a little bit what we're proposing here for the 2015 season.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. As we discussed at last month's board meeting, this is the $2 convenience fee on football tickets sold for road games only. I did provide documentation in the form of a memo to the chair, which was then distributed to the board, which explained what the fees would be used for, what they would not be used for. And I believe in the past we provided rough estimates on the amount that we projected could be collected. That amount would be roughly between $40,000 to $60,000 a year. Primarily, those funds would be used to underwrite the costs, to use Ticketmaster, which is the ticket service provider that we use. So when individuals come to the ticket office to purchase tickets, and we print those tickets out. There are costs that we pay not only to use Ticketmaster, but for each of those tickets that we then subsequently print out, we also bear a cost. So we can use the convenience fees to help underwrite that cost, and any additional proceeds from there can be used specifically towards facility enhancements, particularly with reference to AW.
Are there any questions? I'd just like to know before we take a vote on this that we did include body classes in this, as well as making a statement that there will be no salary enhancements. Can I get a vote? Okay, so motion and second to approve convenience fee charge. Any questions on the readiness? All in favor say aye. The opposition? Ayes have it. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the legislature? Ask for motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Mayor. Now, Southern University Board of Supervisors will come to order. The secretary gives roll call. Sir. Ms. Denbo. Reverend Gant here. Mr. Bell. Mr. Braxton. Clayton. Mr. Dumas. Mr. Fondell. Mr. Fraser. Mr. Hendricks. Dr. Shelley. Mr. Lawson. Mr. Meyer. Mr. Small. Ms. Smith. Dr. Travers. Thank you. We have a quorum. Move to agenda item 3, adoption of the agenda. And second. Moved and seconded that the agenda be adopted as printed. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 4, public comments. Are there any public comments? Seeing there are none. Agenda item 5, action items. Agenda item 5A, minutes of September 19, 2014, regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Mr. President. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 5B, committee reports and recommendations. Yes, sir.
Adoption of items 5A 1 through 6.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Yes. Yes.
Motion, I'd like to pull personnel committee and do it separately, please.
Got your second? You ask for like a second? Yes. All right, we're back to the original motion. Approval of action item 5B, 1 through 6. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Yes. You're not voting on which one? 5B3. Personnel Affairs? Okay.
The motion was in global,
Okay, the motion is global, you have to abstain from everything, so he's good, okay? So he's abstaining.
The board chose to carry the motion in global.
Right, so you're abstaining from everything. Okay. Okay, did I get that motion? Wait, what? Okay, yes. I did, that motion did go through, did I carry it all the way through? No, we
The
voted.
salaries.
No, it's gone.
Okay.
All right. Board action 5C, resolutions.
The Dr. E.C. Harrison, former member of the Southern University Board of Supervisors, departed this life on Saturday, September 20th. The Melinda Blatcher family, Ms. Blatcher, mother of Tony Moore, Southern University Assistant Vice President of Information Technology Management, departed this life on Saturday, September 27th. The Walter L. Jones family, Mr. Jones, brother of Mr. Walter R. Jones, Assistant Director of Purchasing at Southern University and A&M College, departed this life on Sunday, October 5th. The Ms. Lois St. Almont, the former SUBR administrator, was also the wife of Dr. Norman St. Almont, departed this life on October 13th, 2014.
That it?
That is it.
All right. You heard those resolutions. What's your pleasure? Moved and seconded in discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Information items, 6A, System President's Report and Grad Act update.
You mentioned the success of the $1 Million March, which was headed up by Alfred Burrell. We raised a little over $1 million in 3 months, which is a new sort of model for historically Black colleges and universities. I wish he was here to give them a hand.
He's here. Come on down front, you deserve it. Come on down front. Let's give him another hand out there back.
Our work with the NCAA continues. We briefed the athletics chair on the status of their work, and we keep working. I'm not sure how it's going to end up, but it is a serious situation that the chancellor is on top of, and the athletic chair is fully aware of. On the WISE, we approved those proposals, and we'll put those through the process and probably enter them into the system today. Grad Act, we've been working very diligently with the campuses, submitted the remediation plan, and now we're submitting the plan for the retention for the system. Anything you want to add, Dr. Gilroy, or is that covered? And the first quarterly report was submitted, and we got it in on time. And then finally, Luna Foundation has requested us to submit a proposal for a $1.5 million challenge grant to expand the Honorary Center in New Orleans citywide. We think it's a real opportunity to do some good work in New Orleans, so we'll be doing some fundraising to meet that challenge over the course of the next 18 months. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chancellor.
Okay, you have my report. I wanted to add one comment, and that comment was that I would like to thank everyone who participated in the Centennial Homecoming celebration. It was a 2-week celebration, and we had no major incidents. And I think it was the day of homecoming was an example of people coming out and enjoying themselves and not having any problems. So I just like to thank everyone who attended and everyone who participated and assisted. Thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor.
Thank you. You also have our report. We will bring attention to 2 things. You have on your table right now invitation from our Queen for you to join our coronation at the end of the month.
So she's looking forward to seeing you there if you can make it. Also tonight, we have our annual fundraising event, which we call BASH Gala. And it's going to be held at Hyatt Regency downtown New Orleans. We also encourage you to join us if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. You have my report. I have nothing further to add to that.
Thank you. Counselor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. You have my report, a very extensive report here of activities going on around and throughout the state. But one thing I'd like to add is that next year will be the 125th anniversary of the 1890 land grant programs. There'll be a big celebration that'll take place in Washington by all of the, that'll involve all 18 of the 1890 land grant schools. One of the things that took place at our 100th anniversary, which was in 1990, that got a lot of attention, was when we had the Southern University had a table of nothing but generals. Generals and consuls. It was very impressive to see that in uniform, and no one else could match that. So this year, we want to be just as effective as we were then.
Thank you, sir. Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman of the board and members of the board. As many of you may know, today is the day that the bar results was released, and those numbers came out this morning around 10 o'clock. I just want to let you know that our bar passes, overall bar passes, increased over last year by 21.83%. Our bar passes was 56.25, again, which is a 21 point increase over last year. And this is overall, it's not the first time. The first time we expect to be in the 60 overall percentage, and we're, moving up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So that have us all. We're down to agenda item 7. Reverend Tom, you come out front for just a quick second. You that be last month we need to, so just come out. We're so glad to have you as President and Back Convention of American International. Mondale knew that you would need some guidance. So we want to present you with this Bible that he made, that came to us, he presented us with this board, presented to you, and so we want to let you know that this will be your light and keep the light trim and burn. Mondale Memorial Secondly, I would like to say, lunch will be served in Mayberry Hall today because the elevator is not working in the back, so lunch will be provided at Mayberry Hall. And have you all will pass this information around. I need to share one more thing. It's been a long time since we get out of a meeting at about 11. Don't worry. For the record, I want to read the following. Southern University A&M College System Search Committee. Southern University System Board of Supervisors Chairwoman Bridget A. Denbo has formally announced the search committee that will manage the search process. The President of Southern University System and Chancellor of Southern University and A&M College. Although the positions are separate, one committee has been appointed to conduct the search process and subsequently make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. The following individuals have been appointed to the search committee. Reverend Joel Gant, Committee Chair, Dr. Leon Tarver II, Committee Vice Chairman, Attorney Preston Castile, President, Southern University Alumni Federation, Mr. Raymond Fondale, Member, Board of Supervisors, Mr. D'Angelo Frazier, Student Member, Board of Supervisors, Reverend Samuel C. Tarver Jr., Personnel Committee Chair, Ms. Sonia Hester, Faculty Senate President, Southern University, Susler, Dr. Bagioka, SU System Distinguished Professor of Physics, SUBR, and along with this, several leaders will be appointed from the business community. This is an informational item. Is there any other business come to us under other business? If not, can I hear a motion to adjourn? I hear a second? We just adjourn. I would like to ask also those who are real good, and I could go and look at the house, and if you can, I'd invite you to stop by the President's house and look at us on that short.
Oh.
We're going now. We're going straight there now.